Hello, sixth graders. It is time for today's lesson, and we are working with percent circles and circle graphs today. Probably a little review from the past, but a little review doesn't hurt anybody. Let's take a look at this percent circle and circle graph. Right here, we're surveying 20 students, and we're seeing what is their favorite type of movie. Well, 4 out of 20 students would be 20% of the students. You're probably wondering, how did they get that figured out? Well, and you've probably seen this before, but I'm just going to show you a little bit. So if you have 4 out of 20 students, what percent would that be? Well, if you're changing this into a percent, we got to put 20 into 100. Multiply this by 5. Whatever you do on the bottom, you do on the top. Oh, that should be a 5. Apologize. 4 times 5 would be 20. This is 0.2, 20%. So that's how they made these. They didn't make up these percents here. That's how it actually works out in this situation here. Same thing here, 20%. 5 would be 25%. 6 would equal 30. 1 would be 5%. Let's take a look at this next one here. Student grades. So there's 28 students. So 2 divided by 28 would be 7%. Here's another way to do it. I'll grab a calculator. If I take 2 and I divide by 28, I should get 0.07. That's how they do it. So that's another way you can solve it. You're taking this number, or how did they get this number right here? They did 4 divided by 28. Let's see if they get 0.14. Let's try it here. 4 divided by 28 equals 0.14, which would be about 14%. This 2 rounds up to a 3 because of this H. Let's keep moving on here. Little research project happened. A marketing research company asked men and women these same questions. The results are summarized in the circle graphs below. Use the legend to read the graph. So yes would tell, no would not tell. Let's take a look at these ones. First question, if there's a smudge on the face, would you tell somebody or would you not? Here's the men's circle graph. Here is the women's circle graph. The dark part of the circle, it was a yes. The white part is a no. So would men tell? It looks like if there's a smudge on the face and you're a man or you're a boy, you would most likely say yes and you would tell. If this line came all the way down, that would be 50% of saying yes. It's past 50. This mark right here would be 75%. So I would put this mark right around 65%. 50 to 75, about 65% would say yes, they would tell. If that's 65%, 100 minus 65 would give me 35% for an answer. Let's move over on to the women. Well, that looks like it's a little bit past the 50. So I would say I'd make that maybe 52% would say yes, which leaves 48% would say no. Well, it looks like in this situation, the men are a little more honest about a smudge being on the face. For some reason, I don't believe that a 6th grade boy would tell the other 6th grade boy there's a smudge. I think they'd maybe just laugh. Anyways, moving on. Food in the teeth. Men would, so looking at this circle graph, it looks like most of the time men would say, so if I'm looking at this right here, and this mark right here would be 75%, and it's past 75%, this is 100 all the way for a full circle. I would say we're about 85% would say yes. At least 15% saying no. Taking a look at the women over here, this is 75%, right? So it's past that, so we're about 77% would say yes. And that leaves, what is 100 minus 77? It's 23. 23%. Remember, percents are always out of 100. But what percent of the men say they would tell strangers that they had food in their teeth? The answer there would be 85%. About what percent of men would not be willing to tell? 15%. Dandruff, those little white things in your hair. Not gray hair, but dandruff. Yes would tell. Let's take a look at the men here. This right here would be 25%. It's less than that. So yes would be about 23%. So that means all of this would be a lot more, which would be 77%. You're probably wondering, how did I do that so fast? Well, 23 plus 77 is 100. Same thing with the women over here. This is a 25%. Looks like here we're about 12%. Kind of took a ballpark halfway between the 25%. 12% would say yes. That means 88% would say no. How did I get the 88%? 100 minus 12. According to the survey, are men or women more likely to alert strangers if they're embarrassing? I'm pretty sure that men would. Take a look at all these surveys. Men's yes were a lot higher than women. Men. All right. Food in the teeth. I think we already did this one. And dandruff. We'll just keep going. Why do you think people might be hesitant to alert strangers in such situations? Because it is uncomfortable. That guy's hilarious. Let's move on here. Let's do a little bit of long division. This is the first time we're doing this year. I want you to kind of see how I teach long division. It's probably how you've learned it, but you need to know your facts when you're doing these things. So this is how you read this. 336 divided by 14. This is what I always ask kids. How many times can this number right here go into this number? Well, 14 goes into 3 0 times. So I'm going to put a 0 on top. Then I'm going to do 14 times 0 is 0. Then I'm going to subtract. I get 3 minus 0. I get 3. I'm going to bring down the 3. The next thing I'm going to do is how many times does 14 go into 33? A lot of times kids just go right as from the 14 into 33. I don't want you to do that. I want you to get this place value holder right away. Anyways, back to the problem. How many times does 14 go into 33? Well, 14 times 3 gives me 12. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Gives me 42. Whoa, did I mess that up? No, that's times 3. 14 times 2, I apologize, is 8. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. That is 38. That's not correct either. Time out. 14 times 2. 8, 2. There it is. 28. Hang in there with me, kids. See? Look, Mr. Green made a mistake too. Now we're going. Subtracting. I got a 5. How many times can 14 go into 56? Well, right here, 14 times 3. I knew this work would pay off. 14 times 3 is 42. What's 14 times 4? 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 56. Put a 4 up top, got a 56 here, subtract, I'm at 0. 24 is your answer. Let's do another one. 700 divided by 50. I wrote it like this because this would be kind of like mental math. I think we can figure this out on our own without trying to solve. Because if you think about it, if I cross off this 0 and this 0 like previous videos, now I'm going to 70 divided by 5. Let's work that out in long division. How many times can 5 go into 7? Once. 5 times 1 is 5. Subtract, I got a 2. I'm bringing down the 0. How many times can 5 go into 20? 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. I'm going to subtract, I've got 0. 14 is my answer. Move on. 992 divided by 31. How many times can 31 go into the number 9? Goes in there 0 times. 31 times 0 is 0. I'm going to subtract. I got a 9. I'm bringing down a 9. How close can 31 get to 99? Let's go times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. That's pretty close. Put a 3 up top, and I've got a 93 here. I'm going to subtract. I've got a 6. I've got a 2. How close can 31 get to 62? Let's do 31 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. There's your answer. 32 is your answer. Last problem. 551 divided by 29. How many times can 29 go into 5? 0 times. 0. Subtract. 5. Bring down the 5. How close can 29 get to 55? I do know that 29 times 2 might be too high. Let's try it anyways. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Too high. So we have to just put 1 here. 29. Let's subtract. Make this a 15, make this a 4. 15 minus 9 is 6. 4 minus 2 is 2. Bring down a 0, or bring down the 1. Apologize. How many times can 29 go into 261? Well, let's see. 29 times 7, what do we get? 3, 6. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 6 is 203. We can get closer. Let's go 29 times 8. I think we got to try and get even closer. Let's do 29 times 9. I like you being able to watch me have this thought process. You can kind of see how your thought process should probably be. 9 times 9 is 81. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 8 is 26. That's the number we're trying to get to. Put a 9 here. 261. Subtract 0. Done. 19 is your answer. Hopefully this helped little kids with some long division. I apologize, I got mixed up right here in the beginning of that when I was doing my long division. But you know what? I'm known to make a mistake or two. Hopefully you have some fun working with reading your circle graphs and percent circles during math today. Good luck.